COE champion over everything.
Champion over everything.
What's going on, champions? Welcome to another episode of COE Champion Over Everything. Look, today I'm so excited. I have with me, we call it LC, but we got Laura Catherine Dawson with us today of Leaps of Faith. LC, what's up? How you doing?
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look, thank you. So, y'all know, normally what we do is we start off with our champion story. So, LC, the platform is yours to share your champion story.
Okay, so I'll share how just the Lord has used Leaps of Faith to just do a lot in my life. So I started teaching dance in 2012 when I was in college and taught at a really great dance studio, and the Lord just kind of, and I was not following the Lord at the time. Jesus was not an important person in my life. And it just kind of, at the time, it felt like it just kind of fell into place, like my ideas and these opportunities to start Leaps of Faith. Now looking back, like that was not a coincidence, that was the Lord up to something. So I started Leaps of Faith. It was just a weekly ballet class for kiddos who could not afford to take at a studio. We partnered with Edward Street Fellowship Center, and it just rocked my world. And kind of long story short, I just had such a heart for the kids that were in our ballet class and loved them so much, and just knew that like I could not, like me in a little ballet class, like I could not change these kids' lives the way that I wanted to. And that's when I really started like thinking about Jesus and reading the Bible and seeing that the Lord has power.
Yes, definitely.
And I kind of went to it thinking like, okay, I'm gonna bring Jesus to these kids, and I was the one who needed Jesus.
Wow.
And from then on, Leaps of Faith was way more about the Lord and what He could do than about ballet. But I just remember during that time, people being like, "You are a very different person than you were like a year ago." So the Lord just used that to completely change who I am.
Awesome. Man, that's an excellent champion story. All right, so hearing your amazing champion story, I do have a follow-up question about just salvation, finding God. How was that journey for you in the lives of other people that were around you during that time period?
I think that in a culture, in the place where we live, where kind of everyone I know goes to church, and at the time I was going to church, and then there was like this change where it wasn't just about attending church. It was the Lord, like He is my Lord. He is my authority. He saved me. He is my everything, and I think that kind of, in a loving way, but I think people were like, "Hey, you're getting like really into church," and I was like, "No, like it's not church, like it's Jesus."
Right, you get into the Lord,
yeah.
right?
And I think it's been really sweet, just in my friendships that I had back then. Like I have one really close friend who your wife also knows. She and I have really grown in the Lord together, and it like started with this like, oh my goodness, Jesus is more than I ever imagined that He was.
Wow, that's amazing. So, starting Leaps of Faith, because you are a co-founder, what did that journey look like for Leaps of Faith, and how you all came to get this particular organization started? Because y'all do a lot. I wasn't even aware when my daughter first started coming here what all you all do, but how did that journey start for you all?
It started with a really naive person, me,
Okay.
having no clue I don't even think I knew like what nonprofits were when I said, I want to start a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I didn't know. And the Lord's just been really good to, like when the Bible says that He directs our steps, because I was just walking blind. I just imagine like walking through a completely dark room being like, I have no idea what's in here. I have no idea and I had this like vision for what I wanted Leaps of Faith to look like, and in some ways that is where we are. I mean, we started this almost 7 years ago, and in some ways it is so much better, and I think the journey has been me giving up control, but not giving up my crazy ambition. So yes, I am a co-founder. This is not run by me. So Jerry L. Davis is such a great partner, and I have the vision, the ambition, when I say, hey Jerry L., I have an idea, it's like panic on her. She's like, oh my God, Elsie, we don't have time for this right now. And she is so good about taking my ideas and actually making them happen. Like, I think she is magical or something.
Wow.
That she makes it happen.
I mean, that's good to have a great partnership. Definitely with somebody who, for one, is going to help hold you accountable, but two, they will listen to your ideas. You can bounce those ideas off one another, because she may have an idea that you may not think is great, but once y'all come together, then once you put God into it and come together and get His insight, I mean, it's just that much more beautiful, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I would never want to do this without her and our team. It's just, like you said, it's beautiful. And it's just a picture of how the Lord gives us each other and these friendships. And it's really sweet.
That's awesome. So what are some of the pain points? Because being a nonprofit, I know I deal a lot with small business owners, entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations. Everybody kind of has to go through their own struggle. What were some of those tough times for you all, and then how did you overcome it? Pretty much, what's your champion story for the business side of everything?
My sister likes to say that we are like a weed that you can't kill. I think she means that in a loving way.
Yeah.
There were, just today I was thinking about at least 4 times that like we were told Leaps of Faith, either we were told Leaps of Faith was ending and like this could not continue, or something like COVID happened where we were like, we are a dance studio, like we can't keep going in this, and just every time, and there were a few times that it actually did end, and like the Lord just kept putting it in our hearts like He wasn't done, and we just but I think in each time it didn't start up because I like made it. And there were a few times that I actually there was a year where we were not doing Leaps of Faith, and I tried everything I could to get it started back up. And I finally said, okay, like I guess Leaps of Faith is not happening, I'm done. And then this lady, just still like makes me emotional, this lady came to my mom's work and was just like insistent on seeing my mom. And my mom was like, I don't know who you are. But they like, she was clearly like needed to see her. So they let her in, and she said, someone told me your daughter has free ballet lessons, and I have 2 kids and I need them in that ballet class. Like they want to do ballet, I can't afford it. I want them in your class. And my mom said, oh, well, she doesn't do that anymore, but I'll tell her. So she called me that evening and told me what happened. And I was like, Mom, I tried to get Leaps of Faith started back up, and we just couldn't. Like, I gave her all the reasons. And then, like, 2 weeks later, Jerry L. and I were sitting in T-Bones planning our semester. Like, it was just this crazy series of events. And I think the Lord has taught me that this is not mine or Jerry L's program, this is His. And the more and Jerry L's so good about calling me out when she'll say, Elsie, is that the Lord, or like, is that you? Yeah, because we know, like, if it's me running it, like, it's just a shipwreck. But if it's the Lord, it is more than we can imagine. So
He's already ordered those steps for you all. So let's talk about a little bit about the services, because you did mention the free ballet portion of it. And for our audience, you know, those that are listening and watching, tell them a little bit more about the services that you all offer here at Leaps of Faith.
Yes. So we started for kiddos whose families could not afford ballet classes.
And that's one of the kiddos laughing in the background, but hey, that's okay.
She's precious. And so we've kind of expanded it. So our mission is to make ballet accessible to anyone who wants to be in ballet. And so Jeriel and I focus mostly on people who historically have been underrepresented in ballet, people who cannot participate in ballet because of the financial burden, people who think that they don't have the ballet body, kids who think they're too old to start ballet. Ballet is one of these things that if you didn't start when you were 3, like you're so behind. And we have 8, 9, we have a 13-year-old who said, I want to try ballet, but I can't just go into a suit, you know, they don't feel comfortable. And so we intentionally make that a really welcome place. We offer classes for boys. No one has taken us up on that, but we want to be a place that if young boys want to experience classical ballet. You know.
Yeah. Since you mentioned, you know, the boys, I've heard that ballet actually helps them in their athletics.
It does.
Can you speak to that?
Yes, absolutely. So there are a lot of things as an adult that I'm good at, and it's because of ballet, like rock climbing and running, and ballet just uses these muscles and like uses them in a way that I don't really think anything else does. I mean, now you have like bar classes and Pilates and yoga, but I think that something about the ballet technique and training is incredible for the body. One of my ballet teachers, his name is Mr. Henry Danton. He is 102 years old and still teaches classes.
Oh, wow.
He teaches hard, long classes too. Like, he is still a great teacher.
So does he still do like the moves and the techniques and everything?
He now kind of stands still when he teaches, but
Okay.
that's a very recent thing. He used to still be
Moving around.
moving.
That's
We
awesome.
just got him to stop driving. But
That is amazing.
But yes, I think that, you know, a lot of people think that they can't be in ballet because they're not gonna be what they see on like TV or like New York City Ballet. And I think that ballet has so many benefits, like so many mental, but you know, emotional. It's centering, it's calming, and it's a form of worship. I don't know if you're familiar with Ballet Magnificat in Jackson.
I'm not. Tell me a little bit about that.
They are a professional dance company that shares the gospel through ballet, and they're phenomenal performers. They're
Wow.
they're just like Joffrey Ballet or New York City Ballet, and they use it as worship and to proclaim the gospel, and that's what we want to do here.
Awesome. So, going into the worship atmosphere, you have another thing that you all do here, and that's normally on Sundays, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that program and what that is and how that looks for everybody else.
Do you mean like taking the kiddos to church?
Mhm.
That one? Yes.
Mhm.
So, so we have 2 campuses with Leaps of Faith. We have the one that we're in right now, our Oak Grove campus, and there's a second one that we just opened this year at the church at 4 Points. And that church has a fantastic kids ministry, kids like disciple, for kiddos 1st through 6th grade. So I provide transportation to any kiddos who want to go but might not have a ride. And some kiddos, their parents take them, and we learn about Jesus and we eat ice cream. And like, I love spending my Sundays with the kids there.
What's your favorite flavor ice cream?
It changes a lot, but right now I cannot stop eating peanut butter. There's like a Reese's peanut butter Halo Top brand.
Gotcha. When I'm not supposed to eat ice cream, I'm not supposed to eat sweets, period. But my favorite is definitely the Reese's peanut butter blast from Sunday. So,
Yes.
so that's why I kind of asked that. I think it's amazing that you are allowing God to use you, as well as your co-founder. She's in this mix with you all, and y'all are following the passion that God has placed on your heart. The mission to be of service to the community. So being a part of the community, being involved in the community, your passion, your mission to help serve, but there are also other organizations that may help you all out. What does that total picture look like for Leaps of Faith?
Yes. So we absolutely could not be here without community. We are, I always tell Jeriel, like, Hattiesburg was the perfect place for the Lord to start Leaps of Faith. Other dance studios like South Mississippi Ballet Theater, where we are right now, they have let us use the space they just donated it to us to use as, yeah, it's really beautiful. Dance South in Oak Grove, they are really great about just supporting our kiddos. The USM, University of Southern Mississippi dance department is really supportive. We have 2 fantastic interns. It's our first time ever having an intern program.
Wow.
And I felt really unqualified to like teach other people, like teach other like grown people things. But so USM is involved with us. And then one way that we try to help the kiddos, like help us give back to the community, is a new thing. We are having an event this December 18th, and our goal is just, it's not a fundraiser, it is just we want the community to come experience some ballet that, you know, a lot of kiddos say that they've never been to a ballet and never got to see it, and they're so interested in it. So we just want to provide that and then share Jesus.
Awesome. That's awesome. So for those who want to get their sons or daughters involved in ballet, what is the starting age range? What's the ending limit for the kids?
So our youngest class right now is for 3-year-olds. And I will just say that was one of my crazy ideas that Jeriel had to help me work through.
Thank you for that crazy idea, right?
See, Jeriel, I hope that you watch this and you see.
So yeah, I have a 3-year-old, and she is after ballet. She's completely tame. I wish I could send her 5 days a week, but I digress. So all right, so we started 3, and then how old did we go up to?
You know, I don't think that there's an age that I would not. I need to talk to Jeriel about that, but
okay.
Our oldest student right now is 13, and we're just gonna keep growing with them. And I have a dream of starting adult ballet classes. I would love that, and I would love for Miss LaDonna to come do some ballet with me.
Yeah, we'll talk her into it. The day she skips the gym, hopefully she'll be here with you.
Sometimes I try to take class and the kids will point out like, Miss Elsie, you tell us to straighten your legs, but you're not straightening yours. And I'm like, no, I know.
That accountability.
Yeah.
That's what that is. So to a newcomer that may be looking to either start a business or start a nonprofit, what tips or advice would you give to them?
Okay, I have 2 answers for this one. Okay. So if it's a person not following Jesus, who either attends church, doesn't attend church, I would say if you feel a calling on your life, the Lord is probably about to do something in you, and just kind of let it go. Like, go ahead and now surrender to Him. Just someone who is, you know, has a relationship with Jesus and He is their Lord, and they feel this calling. I'm reading this book right now, and they, in one of the chapters, had 3 really great questions that I kind of keep coming back to right now in this season. And one is, you know, of course, are you sure that this is a calling, or are you pretty sure this is a calling? And the second question is, are you willing to draw upon the Lord's strength and not your own? And if the answer is yes, then go for it. I keep learning that the more I try to rely on my own strength, this thing doesn't happen. So I think if you have something on your heart to do, like start a ministry or a Bible study or go overseas or start a business, like let the Lord have it and just see what He does. And I think a lot of like type A people are the ones who start things. So we like that control. So I would just say like surrender it and have faith. You know, I've been reading a lot about faith lately, and it's the assurance of like things unseen. You know, conviction of, or assurance of things we hope for, conviction of things unseen.
Right.
And so like asking, how is this gonna work? Like, is the wrong question. And I think that's where I kept getting tripped up, was I kept thinking like, well, how is it gonna work? And the Lord was like, that's not the question I want you to ask. I want you to like do the work that I'm like, be obedient, and I will figure out how.
So how did you all come up with the name Leaps of Faith? Because we're talking about faith right now, right? We're talking about, you know, those things that we don't see, and then trusting God so that way He brings it to pass, right? So Leaps of Faith is a powerful name for a ministry, for pretty much anything. So how did you all come up with that name?
Okay, I'm gonna give you the true story.
All right.
So I named it before I was following Jesus. I didn't even know I needed a name for this. I just knew I wanted to have a free ballet class once a week. I didn't even know it needed a name.
Yeah.
And the lady whose organization we were starting the program under texted me while I was getting my hair cut, and she said, I'm writing down something for paperwork, we're starting this program, what do you want to call it? And ask Jeriel if I'm good at coming up with names, and she will just, I will have a great idea and just ruin it with a terrible name. And so I just know that the Lord put Leaps of Faith in my head, and it wasn't until a lot later that I looked back, and as the Lord was growing my heart for Him and doing things that I was like, Lord, thank you for it was almost like a, like when you write a paper and you say like, this is what we're about to learn about. Like I think the Lord was like, hey LC, here's what you're about to learn about, Leaps of Faith. And like, here we are just taking, and I feel like, we started with little, almost like toe, like just a tiptoe of faith. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, like a step of faith. And I think the Lord is showing me like, okay, but my goal is for you to start taking leaps of faith.
Awesome.
And so that was the Lord. I come up with terrible names on my own.
That's awesome. So we are coming to the end, and normally we have a call to action, but before we get into the call to action, is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to speak to the audience about today?
I don't think so. I'm just thankful that we're still here. So
Yeah. So with the call to action, that's pretty much one key takeaway about today's conversation, about your champion story, about Leaps of Faith champion story, because I mean, it's amazing at what you all are doing outside and inside of the community here within the Hattiesburg and Oak Grove area. So what is one key takeaway that you would like to share with the audience?
I feel like it's a little cheesy, but I would say just have faith. Like, and faith is an action. It's not just you sit there and you hope that one day, like the thing that you are hoping God will do, it's like He's like giving you a step and you step out in it. And I would say take whatever that next step is, like take it, and the Lord will just honor like even the smallest bit of faith. He will do something with it. So. That's awesome.
All right, so last question before we end today's episode, and I definitely want to get back with you all and do a follow-up, but how can the audience get involved? How can they reach you all here at Leaps of Faith?
Please get involved by coming on December 18th to Town Square Park from 2 to 4 p.m. It is our first ever like public performance. Normally our recital is just friends and family. Please come. And we also need volunteers to run some booths. We're gonna just have like fun games after the show, like hot chocolate bar and pin the nose on Rudolph, and like a race to see who can unwrap a gift wearing mittens or like oven mitts.
Oh, wow.
Fun games like that. So we need some like high school kiddos or college kiddos or grown-ups or anyone who wants to come help us run booths, help us just in the audience like cheer super loudly for our kids. They are already working now. Rhea already knows her dance for December 18th. So come support us, because ballet class is fun, but the point of it is the show.
Right,
That's
right.
why we torture ourselves.
Putting
sometimes.
on the show, right?
Yes, so come support us. That would be really great.
And then social media, where can they find you all? Social media, email, phone number? Give me that information.
So Instagram. So our Instagram is at Leaps of Faith MS for Mississippi. That Instagram I thought was going to be the death of me. It's gotten a lot better. Thank you to the really awesome high schoolers who've helped me.
It's good to have help.
It is. So at Leaps of Faith MS, the same on Facebook. Our email is leapsoffaithms@gmail.com. And my phone number is 601-447-0549. Call me. I'm really bad at responding to texts.
Sounds like my wife. But you would know that.
That's why our phone calls are so good.
Awesome. Look, champions, LC, I've enjoyed today's episode. Champions, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for welcoming LC to the channel. She is a champion, and you can hear the passion. I'm glad to see how God is working in your life, and then how he's working through you, using you to minister to others. So that is the conclusion of this week's episode. So COE, champion over everything.